Stop for 1 minute, just one, because what you are about to hear is not another speech about hustle, luck, or chasing money until your soul feels tired. This is different. This is for the person who has worked hard, stayed patient, kept showing up, kept smiling, and still gone to sleep wondering why abundance keeps passing by your door. If that is you, stay with me, because in the next few moments, something is going to click. There is an old spiritual idea hidden in plain sight for generations that says, wealth is not always blocked because you are lazy, unworthy, or behind. Sometimes it is blocked because your spirit is out of alignment with what is already meant for you. Let that sink in. What if the breakthrough you have been begging for is not somewhere far away? What if it is already close, already written, already moving toward you, but waiting for the right words, the right posture, the right moment of deep intention? And what if those words take less than a minute? Do not scroll. Do not half listen. This part matters, because before this is over, you are going to hear a prayer designed to quiet fear, open your heart, and help you step back into the flow of provision with clarity, peace, and power. And if you feel even a small pull in your chest right now, that is your sign to keep going, because what comes next may be exactly what your spirit has been waiting to hear. There is something almost everyone feels, but rarely says out loud. You can be doing your best and still feel like your blessing keeps landing somewhere else. You work, you try, you push through, you stay responsible, you follow advice, you keep faith alive as much as you can, and yet real abundance can still feel like it is always one step ahead, like a moving door, like a promise that keeps getting delayed. You celebrate other people when good things happen to them, but in quiet moments you ask the honest question, what about me? When does it happen for me? What am I missing? And maybe that is the real reason you are here right now, not by accident, not just because a video appeared on your screen, but because somewhere inside you knew you needed a different answer, not more pressure, not more noise, not another speech telling you to grind harder until you break. What you may have been missing is not effort. It may be alignment. It may be a prayer spoken with full attention. It may be a moment where your heart, your words, and your expectation finally begin moving in the same direction. So if this speaks to you, take a breath and let yourself receive it. Say it in your own spirit if you want. I am ready to receive. Simple words, strong words, because the moment you stop shrinking your desire and start naming it with honesty, something begins to open. And stay with me, because the deeper truth behind this is where everything starts to change. Long before modern books on success, before trends, before morning routine culture and polished advice, there were ancient teachings that saw wealth in a very different way. They did not separate spiritual life from material life. They understood provision as something sacred. They believed abundance was not only about money in your pocket, but about flow, support, stability, nourishment, timing, favor, and peace. In those teachings, there is a powerful idea. Every soul has a portion of provision set aside for it, a share, a path, a stream of livelihood prepared by the divine, not decided by the mood of the economy. Not limited by where you started, not reduced by who doubted you. And that changes everything. Because if your provision is already written in a deeper place than the world can touch, then the real question becomes this: how do you come into alignment with it? How do you open yourself to what is already carrying your name? The old answer was not panic, not desperation, not begging from a place of inner collapse. The answer was prayer with intention. Prayer that does not say, please invent a future for me out of nowhere, but prayer that says, clear what is in the way, remove the fear, remove the confusion, remove the inner agreement with lack. Open the path for what has already been prepared. That is a very different kind of prayer. It is calmer, stronger, cleaner, and honestly, more powerful. Because it teaches you to stop living like someone forgotten and start standing like someone whose portion is real. Keep listening, because once this lands, the rest of the message will hit in a completely different way. Think about the story of a young ruler standing under enormous pressure. given the chance to ask for anything: riches, power, protection, victory, a longer life, public greatness. He could have asked for all of it. Instead, he asked for wisdom. He asked for understanding. He asked for the ability to lead well and judge rightly. That choice reveals something most people miss. The prayer that opens the door to abundance is not always the prayer that chases wealth directly. It is the prayer that seeks alignment with what is higher, wiser, and more true. And because that prayer was clean, because it came from humility instead of greed, what followed was far greater than the request itself. Honor came, abundance came, overflow came. Not because it was chased with panic, but because it arrived through alignment. This is where many people get stuck. They pray from fear. They pray from inner collapse. They pray with a hidden belief that they are already too late. But a stronger prayer sounds different. It says, I trust that what is meant for me exists. I trust that my portion has not disappeared. I trust that delay is not denial. Now clear my heart, steady my mind, guide my actions, and open the channel for what is already mine to come into my life in the right way. Can you feel the shift in that? It is not weak. It is not passive. It is deeply rooted. And if you have ever felt tired of praying like someone stranded in the dark, maybe this is the moment you begin praying like someone who knows dawn is already on the way. Do not skip what comes next, because this next part may explain more than you expected. Sometimes abundance was flowing in your life before you remember it. Doors opened, help arrived, energy was high, ideas moved, money came easier, you felt alive, clear, and supported. Then something changed. The stream slowed down. Maybe it did not stop all at once. Maybe it became thinner, harder, quieter. And ever since then, you have been trying to figure out what happened. Did I do something wrong? Did I lose favor? Did I miss my season? Am I being punished? Listen carefully. A hard season does not always mean your blessing disappeared. Sometimes the promise remains, but the channel gets crowded. Fear can do that. Doubt can do that. Shame can do that. Bitter words can do that. Repeated disappointment can slowly create an inner story that says, maybe this is just how life will always be for me. And when that story keeps running in the background, it affects everything. How you think, how you decide, how you receive, how you notice opportunity, how you speak about your future. In the old wisdom, this would be like a blockage in the flow, not the end of the flow. That matters, because a blockage can be cleared. A channel can open again. A stream can widen again. And prayer, spoken with focus and sincerity, becomes more than words. It becomes a turning point, a release, a reset. Not magic, not performance, a real inner act that loosens what fear has tightened. So if part of you has quietly assumed that a smaller life is all that remains, I want you to challenge that right now. What if this is not the end of the story? What if you are not stuck, only clogged by pain? You never meant to carry this long. Stay with me. The next part is where the prayer begins to take shape. There is one key that makes all of this come alive, and without it, even beautiful words can feel empty. That key is intention, full attention, wholehearted presence. Not rushing through lines while your mind is trapped in bills, fear, and distraction. Not saying sacred words while your heart is somewhere else. Intention is what gives prayer weight. It is what brings your spirit into the room. A prayer without intention may sound correct, but it will feel distant. A prayer with intention is different. It has heat. It has honesty. It touches something deeper than language. So before the words, there has to be an inner arrival. You have to come into the moment. You have to pause long enough to remember that you are not only a person trying to survive another week. You are a soul speaking to the source of life itself. And yes, that changes the atmosphere. It changes the way you breathe. It changes the way you sit. It changes the way you listen to your own voice. The old teachers understood something modern life keeps making us forget. Your inner world shapes what you can hold, what you can recognize, and what you can sustain. That means this is not only about asking for more, it is about becoming inwardly ready for more, ready to receive without fear, ready to hold without self-sabotage, ready to act without shrinking, ready to move without the old script of lack dragging behind every step. And if this feels personal, it is because it is. You did not stay through this message for nothing. Something in you is still reaching. Something in you still believes there is more. Hold on to that. That reaching matters more than you know. There's also another truth that deepens this even more. Abundance is healthiest when it flows through open hands, not clenched fists. Real provision is not just about what comes in, it is also about what moves through you with generosity, righteousness, and trust. This is not about guilt. It is not about pressure. It is about understanding that a closed spirit tightens everything. A fearful grip can make the whole life feel narrow. But when the heart opens, when gratitude grows, when giving becomes part of the flow, something changes in the atmosphere around your life. You stop acting like a locked container and start living like a river. And rivers move, they receive and give. They stay fresh because they do not only collect. This is why gratitude matters. This is why blessing your daily provision matters. Every meal, every small mercy, every bill somehow paid, every quiet rescue, every unexpected help. Every single one teaches your spirit to recognize that provision is already active. And what you recognize, you relate to differently. You stop speaking as if you are abandoned. You stop training your mind to expect only lack. You begin building a new inner language, one that says, I see the good that has already reached me, and I trust that more good can arrive. That is not denial. That is spiritual stability. It is the steady refusal to let scarcity become your permanent identity. And if you have been carrying the opposite story for years, this may feel unfamiliar at first. That is okay. New alignment often feels strange before it feels natural, but keep going, because now it is time to slow down, breathe deeply, and step into the prayer itself. So here is what I want you to do. Sit a little straighter, not stiff, just steady. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands rest open for a moment if you can. Take one slow breath in and one slow breath out. And as you exhale, release the panic. Release the picture of failure. Release the voice that says nothing ever changes. Release the weight of trying to predict every outcome before it happens. For the next minute, you do not need to carry all of that. For the next minute, let prayer hold the space instead. Now say these words slowly, with calm strength and simple trust. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who nourishes the whole world with goodness, with grace, with kindness, and with compassion. You give sustenance to all life because your kindness never ends. In your great goodness we have not lacked, and may we never lack nourishment for the sake of your great name. You sustain all, you care for all, and you prepare what is needed for every living being you created. Blessed are you, God, who nourishes all. May the merciful one bless me and all that belongs to me, just as our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, were blessed in every way. So may God bless me fully and completely. Amen. May God bless me and guard me. May God shine his face upon me and be gracious to me. May God lift his face toward me and give me peace, provision, favor, and the fullness of what has already been written for my life. Do not rush away from that. Stay there for a few seconds. Let the words settle. If you were truly present for that, something shifted. Maybe softly, maybe deeply, maybe in a way you cannot explain yet. That is okay. Not every spiritual change arrives like thunder. Sometimes it arrives like a key turning quietly in a lock that has been waiting a very long time. The important thing is not to dismiss it, Do not make the mistake of touching peace for a moment and then running straight back into the old inner chaos. This is where many people lose the effect. They pray with sincerity, feel relief, then go right back to speaking fear all day long. They open the channel for 60 seconds and then spend the next 12 hours filling it with doubt. And then they wonder why nothing seems to move. But prayer was never meant to be a tiny emotional moment squeezed between patterns of unbelief. It is meant to become a daily return, a daily realignment, a daily act of remembering who you are and what you are connected to. That means after the prayer, your words matter, your posture matters, the way you speak over your future matters, the way you respond to delay matters, the way you hold yourself when no evidence has appeared yet matters. This is the part that requires maturity, to keep the door open, to stay inwardly available, to refuse the old habit of collapsing into worst-case thinking every time the timeline feels longer than you hoped. If you can do that, if you can keep coming back to this place day after day, you will begin to notice something. Your reactions change first. Then your vision changes. Then your choices change. Then your life begins to show the evidence of what was already changing within. And let me say something very directly, because I think many people need to hear it in simple language. The biggest battle around abundance is often not outside you. It is the quiet story inside you that has been repeating for years. Maybe it started in childhood. Maybe it grew through hardship, rejection, debt, failure, or watching others have what felt impossible for you. Maybe no one ever told you that you were allowed to expect a fruitful life. So you learned to lower your hopes before life could disappoint you again. You called it realism. You called it maturity. But deep down, it may have been wounded expectation. And wounded expectation can make a person step back from their own blessing before it even arrives. It can make you hesitate where you should move. It can make you expect loss where you should be looking for direction. It can make you sabotage the very things you prayed for because lack has started to feel familiar. This is why speaking truth out loud matters. Not empty hype, not pretending everything is easy. Truth, strong, simple truth. I am not forgotten. My life is not closed. Provision is still possible. Peace is still possible. Doors can still open. Wisdom can still come. Support can still arrive. What is for me does not need fear to manage it. It needs faith to receive it and courage to walk with it. Say that with your life, not just your mouth. Say it when you wake up. Say it when fear rises. Say it when delay tries to sell you a smaller future. This is how the inner script begins to change. Slowly at first, then powerfully. And once that script changes, everything starts responding to a different signal. Now, imagine what happens if you do this every day. Not as a ritual you perform to earn love. Not as a formula you use to force results, but as a daily returning. 60 seconds in the morning before the noise of the world gets into your spirit. 60 seconds before the messages, before the stress, before the comparisons, before the old pressure starts talking. You breathe. You remember. You pray. You open the channel. You step into the day as someone whose portion is real. Someone who is not chasing from emptiness, but moving from alignment. And little by little, life begins to feel different. You become less frantic, more clear, less desperate, more grounded. Your decisions carry more peace. Your relationships hold more honesty. Your work has more direction. You stop measuring every day only by immediate visible results and start noticing the deeper shift. You are becoming the kind of person who can receive, steward, and share abundance without fear owning the center of your life. And yes, practical action still matters. Wisdom still matters. Effort still matters. But they work differently when your spirit is not fighting against itself. That is the beauty of this. Prayer does not replace responsible living. It strengthens it. It clears it. It fills it with light. It turns effort from panic into purpose. It turns action from strain into alignment. And if you stay with this, truly stay with it, one day you may look around and realize the answer did not always come as one giant dramatic moment. It came as a steady unfolding, an opening here, a rescue there, a new opportunity, a restored confidence, a timely connection, a calmer mind, a wiser move, a provision that kept arriving. And when it does begin to move more clearly in your life, remember the open hand. Remember that abundance is healthiest when it does not end with you. Let kindness stay in the system. Let generosity stay in the flow. Let your blessing become shelter, help, relief, and goodness in someone else's life too. Because a river that only tries to keep everything eventually turns stale. But a river that keeps moving stays alive. That is the deeper invitation here. Not just to have more, but to become more spacious inside, more peaceful, more able to bless and not only consume, more able to trust and not only clutch. And that kind of life has beauty in it. It has dignity. It has weight. It has witness. So when this ends, do not just admire the message. Use it. Pray again, slowly, with intention. Tomorrow morning, do it before your feet hit the floor. Then the next day, then again. Let it become part of your inner rebuilding. Let it speak louder than fear. Let it remind your soul that lack is not your identity and delay is not your final story. You are not meant to live bowed down under the constant pressure of not enough. You are meant to live open, guided, steady, and ready. Ready for wisdom, ready for provision, ready for peace, ready for the life that has been waiting on the other side of your wholehearted yes. And if something in you feels awake right now, do not ignore it. That stirring matters. Hold on to it. Return to it. Feed it with prayer, gratitude, wise action, and an open heart. So here is the final truth I want to leave with you. The blessing is not far because it is impossible. It often feels far because fear has been loud, distraction has been constant, and your inner world has been carrying too much for too long. But none of that means the promise is gone. None of that means your portion vanished. None of that means heaven forgot your address. The stream can move again, the channel can clear again, your spirit can learn peace again, your mouth can learn stronger words again. Your life can begin to look like what your heart has quietly hoped for, even after long seasons of dryness. Start with the minute. Start there. Give that 1 minute your full honesty, your full attention, your full intention. And then walk into your day like someone who believes that what is meant for them is not built on panic, not sustained by fear, and not canceled by past disappointment. Walk like someone who knows that provision is real, guidance is real, peace is real, and a new season can begin from a very small but very sincere opening. Because sometimes that is how everything changes, not in a rush, not with noise, but with 1 minute of real prayer, repeated with a clean heart until the old story breaks and a new one begins. And maybe that is why you were meant to hear this today. Not just to feel inspired for a moment, but to begin right now, quietly, strongly, completely.